Everybody that showed up today, and we're super thankful that the weather allowed for us to have this press conference outside. But want to say thank you to the families, the kids that came up to really talk about a very, very important issue. And I think today for me is a day of celebration. Today's a day where parents, community engaged, and Sacramento listened. And with that being said, I want to turn it over to hear from the family members on why this is so important that we let our kids play football, why we let our kids play sports, why it's a parental choice. So I want to turn it over to Steve Famio. So Steve, come on down.
Thank you. Yeah. Hi, everybody. You got to forgive me. I'm a little emotional today, and I'm like on no sleep. Did some East Coast interviews this morning, and it's been a whirlwind. It's been 6 years of fighting Sacramento. And I hate to even say that out loud, to be honest with you. I'm the lead of the Save Youth Football California Coalition, also the California Youth Football Alliance, and I do this because of them. That's why I do this. I figured I would know what I was going to say when I got up here, but if you could just hear from these families, and you could hear their stories and the text messages and the messages I get from across the country from people who have succeeded because of youth football. It's a disappointing day for me. I'm happy to be here, but it's a disappointing day that we're standing here doing this. We love our kids. We love our communities, and this has to end. This has to end. Sacramento needs to listen to us, and we need to stop being adversarial when it comes to families and government. I never in my wildest dreams thought that this youth football debate would turn into a national parental rights debate, but it has. And you know what? I'm glad it has. I'm glad we could use youth football to bring a broader scope to what is going on, not only in California, but in our country. We know as parents what we need to do with our children. And we need the government to start building bridges between the capital and our capital at home. We need bridges. We don't need walls. And I'm proud of the work that we've done. I'm proud to have the support of the California youth football community behind us. I could not be happier. I could not be happier for all the lawmakers that are supporting our cause. This is an easy decision for lawmakers in California. Support your local constituents who tell you no on AB 734. It's a simple thing. Come out to a youth football game. Come out to a practice. Come and get to know us. Don't attack us. Come and get to know us. Look at these kids. This is like one of the funnest things you guys could ever do in life is be out here with these guys, And I don't want to take up too much more time, but I'm proud of the Save Youth Football Coalition and the families and high school coaches and everybody behind us in this movement and the support of lawmakers here in Sacramento. I appreciate everybody, and I thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Steve. And if you can't understand the passion, you certainly hear it in Steve's voice. Our next speaker, I want to introduce the Republican Assembly leader, my leader, Assemblymember James Gallagher.
All right, thank you all for being here this morning. And some great news, it looks like AB 734 is stalled.
Yeah.
For now. And that's a big victory, and I want to say this is a big victory for these kids, for their parents, for the coaches, who for 6 years have been coming to this building and talking about this issue. That's how long this fight has been going on. For 6 years, they've been trying to ban youth tackle football, ignoring the voices, largely, of these parents and kids, and pushing forward with this senseless legislation. We keep stopping it, but it keeps coming back. And that's why I say for now, we have to be vigilant. We have to be vigilant against this. Now, we've made a lot of progress. You know, one thing that's been brought up, we already have legislation that passed just a few years ago that helps make youth tackle football safer. And that was the result of people actually listening and working with the coaches and with the players, and with their families. We already have that legislation on the book, so why are we moving forward with the full-scale ban? Still, even after that has happened. And it's kind of a theme that we've seen out of the Democrats in the legislature here recently. They move far out of the mainstream, and thanks to public outcry and pressure and frankly embarrassment, they finally turn and go the right way. And we as Republicans have been calling that out. We're going to continue to call it out. We called it out on fentanyl last year when they refused to move forward with these drugs and the pushers who are killing our kids. When they refused to make human trafficking a serious felony, we called it out. The public called it out, and they turned around. That's how we can do it. Us all working together, we can make the change, but we got to call them out. We got to keep the pressure on. And for 6 years, that's what you all have done. I couldn't be prouder to be standing here with you, but it's the work of these folks up here, of these kids and their parents. I'm glad the governor took our talking points. Parents get to decide, not the government. We decide what's best for our kids, and we're going to continue to do so, and we're going to continue to talk about that in this building right here. So our fight doesn't end here today. This is a big win. It's a big win for these kids and the amazing things that they get out of this youth football. I love seeing, people from my district. We got some Orland kids. We got Wheatland. I see we have some folks from Colusa, Gridley. I see back there Rio Linda. This has been great programs across this state that are building amazing young people, right? And there's some of them are standing right here with me today. That's a win for them. We need to start passing policies out of this place that think about them. Not about government. So we're going to keep working on that. We're going to keep fighting. I appreciate all of you, but today is a testament to all of you and to the work that you've done. Thank you for making your voices heard. Thank you for coming down here and not being afraid to speak up for what's right. And thank you for keeping at it. And thank you for doing it for the kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Gallagher. Next is a dear friend of mine, a colleague who deserves a lot of credit with our comms team of putting this all together, a dear friend, Assemblywoman Lori Davies.
Good morning. Thank you, Assemblymember Flora. I want to start out by asking Californians this question. Is the state of California tackling the wrong issue when it comes to Assembly Bill 734? The state has so much more to do than limit sports for children. We have an open border with fentanyl flowing across our state. We have crumbling infrastructure that needs to be repaired. We have a justice system that no longer punishes criminals. And the legislature is being asked to weigh in on whether a child under 12 should be allowed to play tackle football. This isn't an issue of safety. There are plenty of other sports that are just as dangerous or more dangerous than football. This is about parents being able to choose what is right for their children. I asked Coach John Carroll, one of California's most winning high school coaches, for his thoughts on this bill. He coached Oceanside High School in my district from 1989 to 2014, winning 13 CIF championships. He said, I quote, "The benefits of tackle football done right are unique to any other sport. Those benefits may be exactly what a specific child needs. Motivation and accountability from a male role model may be in the child's best interest. Who's to say at what age that may be needed? Of course, the parent. Positive peer association is beneficial to all, and football may be the best method for some. Youth football programs hold children accountable for the school academics and behavioral standards, a great tool to help parents. Learning to deal positively with success and failure is a necessary development skill. The sooner we all learn to cope is in our best interest. For some, youth football will be the best method. While many of those benefits can be obtained through other activities, Why would we close the door on perhaps the very best for a specific child? Coach Carroll and I firmly believe the state does not know best, parents do, and they should continue to be the ultimate authority. Thank you.
All right, we have another friend, another coach, Mr. Ron White with the California Youth Alliance. Ron?
Really emotional day today. My name's Ron White. I'm with the California Youth Football Alliance. Thank you for calling me a coach. In my 56 years, I've been called a lot of names, for sure. But you could not honor me with a better name than a coach. If you support youth tackle football and you're at the Capitol, no matter where you traveled from, please give yourself a hand. It's a very emotional day. We know that. As I'm in a train from Bakersfield last night, I'm thinking, what am I going to say to these folks? It's been a 6-year journey for us. We've been in policy discussion, safety bill discussion. If there's been a discussion at the Capitol, we've been in it. I'm not interested in sharing any policy with you today. We've done the work. Thank you, former Assemblymember Jim Cooper. Thank you to these folks behind us, the legislators that have stood shoulder to shoulder with us. Give them a hand, please. We've had about as many policy discussions as we want to have. What I'd rather offer you today is my personal journey, and I'm going to make it quick. I grew up in a really rough part of East Bakersfield called East Bakersfield. It's the type of neighborhood where you fight yourself or you fight to and from school, and I mean every day. On my block, and I say this to you as a retired California State Peace Officer and someone who works at the Capitol periodically, I say to you that on my block, there were 3 young men. Please, if you hear anything today, hear this. One of those young men was tragically murdered. That doesn't always show up in the stat sheet. The other young man doing life in prison. The third young man is speaking to you today. Football has not just changed my life. Football has saved my life, just as it will across this country and as it has for 100 years. I'm going to leave you with this. I hear tell that baseball is America's pastime. I'm here to tell you today, football is America's passion. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Next we have a great colleague, represents the area just to the north of us, Assemblymember Josh Hoover.
Thank you. I am Josh Hoover. I represent the 7th Assembly District right here in Sacramento County. I'm also a parent and a former school board member in the Folsom Cordova Unified School District. My district is home to the 5-time state champion Folsom Bulldogs football team. We're also home to a number of amazing high school programs, middle school football programs, and junior programs. And I am here today to stand with you because I believe strongly that we have to, in fact, I'm disappointed. I'm thankful that everyone is here today, but I'm disappointed that we're here doing this again. It wasn't too long ago in 2020 that our state said they knew what was best for our kids. They imposed the longest school shutdowns in the entire nation. To this day, our kids are still reeling from the learning loss that came from those school shutdowns. They didn't allow our kids to play sports during that period, even outside. And it was parents who fought to get those schools back open. And yet here we are 3 years later, still fighting for our kids against a state that wants to take something away again. And so I want to join with you today to loudly and clearly say that it is parents, not government, that are in the best position to make decisions for their kids when it comes to youth sports. Thank you all for being here today. I'm really grateful that the governor came out and said he was opposed to this, but that is not enough. The legislature needs to make it clear immediately that that bill doesn't even need to reach his desk. That's what we are here to do today, and I really appreciate you having me. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hoover. Next up, we have Professor Erica Taylor.
Hi, good morning. My name is Erica Tyler, and I'm a parent of 2 athletes, one of whom plays youth tackle football. I'm also a college professor with a background in human anatomy, skeletal trauma, and epidemiology, and I'm also a youth flag football coach. I'm here to oppose AB 734 as it presents a dangerous precedent for banning youth sports in the state of California in the midst of a crisis of youth mental health and diseases of sedentism. While I am well aware of the danger of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, banning youth tackle football is not the path to curtailing this risk. The misguided notion that flag football or other youth sports will act as a less risky substitute is dangerously inaccurate, as the lack of protective gear in these sports increases the likelihood of dangerous outcomes therein. Furthermore, this completely ignores the communities and the cultural significance for marginalized youth. I love flag football, but it is a completely different sport with a completely different level of community engagement. And I want to remind everybody that this is not a partisan issue. I come from the opposite side of the aisle as most of the people that are here today, but I do not support this legislation. Science does not support a ban on tackle football. In fact, the greatest risk in youth sports is not at all associated with tackling. It is associated with being accidentally kicked, struck, or falling during all types of sports. Football is an American institution, and the diverse yet integrated community that forms around it is unbreakable. AB 734 will have an outsized impact on underserved community. Banning youth sports follows a pattern of criminalizing activities that are central to Black and brown communities. And this bill will disproportionately affect young people of color, especially young men. This legislation will push more people, especially Black and brown youth, through the school-to-prison pipeline by taking away mentors, community, brotherhood, and family. Please listen to the voices of those of us who have been positively impacted by youth sports and say no to banning youth football. Thank you.
All right, well, we want to thank you very much, Professor. And our next speaker is a man that doesn't have a lot of flaws, except he's a Green Bay Packers fan. My colleague, Assembly Member Tom Lackey.
We believe in balance at this institution. So let me just make 2 very, very important points, and I'll be quick. First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you is definitely in order, because this is part of the institution that actually makes America strong, makes our communities strong, and it makes this state stronger. And that is activism. And we have been very, very diligent. As you've heard, 6 years is a long time. But folks, my second point is put your chin straps on. It's not over. This battle is not over. We have a victory that we should celebrate today. It's a positive movement, but I thought a couple years ago that we'd put this to sleep. We did not. That's a very, very loud message to all of us, that we need to protect not only just parental rights, but the future of our kids. I can tell you story after story, and you've heard some very, very remarkable testimonies today. But I can tell you that it seems like we may have stopped this bureaucratic blitz, to use a great football term, against tackle football today, but we need to stay engaged. Blitzes are only successful when you aren't prepared for them. Let's learn from this success today. Put your chin straps on. Thank you very much, everybody. And go Pack, go. America loves an underdog.
Thank you, Mr. Lackey. Our next guest is Dr. Raymond Ross.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Dr. Raymond E. Ross Sr., and I am the president of the San Francisco Brown Bombers Youth Football and Cheer Organization. I am also the president of the new NorCal AYF, which is serving 19 organizations as far as Rancho Cordova all the way down to Hollister, California, and everything in between. I'm also the vice regional director of American Youth Football for the entire West Coast and including Hawaii. I give you those data index points for one purpose. I would like to demonstrate to you through my record my commitment to youth football. In all of those roles, I serve as a volunteer. This is a sad day for the reason why we're here, but it's a great day. Youth football, because there's two issues here, youth football has created this crowd that stands here with us today. Please look around. It's diverse. There's equity here. There is inclusion. These are some of the things that we strive for as our society right now. Youth football started in 1929. Here's a news flash. Diversity, equity, and inclusion has been something we've been talking about maybe for the last 12 months. The blueprint for the foundation of that has been embedded in youth football since 1929. Look around. There's diversity on every organization. There's equity in those organizations. Girls are playing football as well as the boys. There are inclusion. Those children that suffer from disabilities are part of these teams and play in youth football. Government has one role, to serve the constituents, to look out for the health and general welfare of the people they serve. They can't do that alone. This is why if they call on the youth football leaders, we can provide them as subject matter experts on what is needed. But let's not lose sight. This is not just about youth football and whether it's safe. There's another issue here, maybe even bigger. Parental rights are at risk. Our Constitution was created to protect the fundamental rights of parents to raise their children as they see fit. Parents are in the best position to determine what is needed for their children. This is a parental right, not a government right. This is the biggest example of government overreach. I want to publicly applaud the governor for stating his intent to veto any bill, this bill or any bill that's banning youth football that reaches his desk. Yeah, let's give that up. As someone who has worked with Gavin Newsom as the former mayor of San Francisco, he served as a referee in our citywide jamboree for the Brown Bombers. I know his commitment to youth football and the benefits, as he has family members that are matriculating right now through public high schools and private high schools throughout the state that are doing well in the game of football. So let's be certain that as we move forward, this is not over, but this is an opportunity for us to continue to band together. And as I stand here, I cannot remember being more proud to stand with a band of men and women who are pushing and supporting not only this sport, but standing up for the rights of parents to make the choice that is best for their children. I say to all of them, I say to all of you, thank you. The fight is not over. Let's prepare to move forward. Youth football is here to stay. And I know we haven't talked about this much, but youth football has expanded cheerleading and has created those opportunities for our boys and our girls to participate in any one of those sports and come together and learn what it means to be bigger than something that's bigger than yourself. So I say to all of you, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this no ban on 734, and let's keep youth football alive. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Ross. That's a really tough thing to follow. But coming up next is our next speaker. Jay Earhart is a Sacramento Youth Football League commissioner. Jay?
Thank you. Most of everything I wanted to say has already been said. I want to thank Steve Famiano and Ron White for joining this fight back in 2018. Getting ahead of this was a big thing for California youth football, and I can tell you they have worked tirelessly with Sheriff Cooper to get AB1 passed, which we all fall under now in California. We are, and I said this morning on Fox News, we are the safest state for youth tackle football in America. Equipment technology is one thing, but I can tell you that coach training, certification of coaches, certification of volunteers, all of those things that came out of this bill due to their due diligence, has helped make California youth football the safest in America and the model for America. Instead of banning something, they should use this, and I hope our new federal legislature will look at this going on in the future and using this as a model for all of youth football in America instead of banning it. Join with us to make youth football safer across America. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much, Jay. And with that, that's kind of the end of our speakers. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everybody that showed up today. Thank you for the kids. Thank you for the professors. Thank you for the doctors that come. And really the families. Because what you realize today is this is much bigger than just youth football. This is about parental rights. This is about community. And that's something that we should all stand for. With that being said, there are going to be a few of us that are going to stay around for questions and answers. But I would honestly encourage all of you from the media to talk to the kids, talk to the parents, talk to the coaches, because they're really the driver behind this. It is our job to represent them, and I'm so proud that they stood up with us. And let's have a great afternoon. Thank you for being here. Drive home safely.
Thank you. Appreciate it. No, thank you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. You want me to throw that away for you?
Oh, God.
I just had to. Who signed it?
It's Steve Young.
Did you see my news thing this morning with Bill Hammer? So in the background, do you see my Hall of Fame helmet? When I used to work for the East-West game, my last year working